All right, so we're going to keep going on with 4.6 today. So as a warm-up, answer or look at these two mapping diagrams and decide which is a function. All right, so looking at this first one, -5 is going to two different values. So this is not a function. If we look at this one, we can check each of these. -9, 10, and 33 all only go to one value, so this would be a function. All right, so what is function notation? So we know an equation represents a function. We can then write it using function notation. Instead of using the variable y, we're going to use f of x. So this right here, you'd say f of x. So this is your name of the function, which is replacing this y right here. And then this is the actual function of what's happening. So in this first one, your independent variable is the x, and the dependent is f of x. In this one, independent variable is x, and your dependent is g of x. And then this right here, it always tells you what your variable is. So that could be like p, it could be d, it could be something else, depending on what your function is, but that tells you the variable that you're working with. Okay, so here we have a function, h of x equals 2x plus 4. We want to figure out, well, what is h of 4? So this is telling us that x equals 4. So inside the parentheses, it's telling you what your x value is. So if we want to figure out h of 4, we just need to replace this x with 4 and then solve. So you'll end up getting 12. So next it asks us, what value of x makes h of x 28? So we can replace this h of x right here with 28 equals 2x plus 4. And now we need to solve and figure out what makes that statement true. So subtract 4 from both sides, you'll get 24 equals 2x, divide by 2, and then x equals 12. Right there. All right. So here's another one. Same idea, we have p of x. This equals the absolute value of x plus 5. So we want to figure out, well, what is p of 3? So this is saying x equals 3. So we need to plug that in. So p of 3 is going to be the absolute value of 3 plus 5. Well, the absolute value of 3 is just 3. So you have 3 plus 5, which is 8. Then we want to figure out, well, what's p of -5? So again, this is saying x equals -5. So p of -5 equals absolute value of -5 plus 5, which is 5 plus 5, which equals 10. So p of -5 equals 10. That is telling us here, this is our input. This is the x input value, and here would be our output, or the y value if you were going to graph this. Okay, so now we're going to find the range of a function. So we have t of x equals x squared minus 1, and then it tells us the domain. So this is telling us all of the x values. So we can set up a table here, our x and y values, and we'll have -2, 1, 5, and 8. So to find these y values, we want to plug them in here. So if I was going to do the -2, we'd have -2 squared minus 1 and figure out what that is. You'll get 3, and then do that with all the rest of them. We'll get 0, 24, and 63. So your range would be 0, 3, 24, and 63 if we list them from smallest to biggest. And that'd be the range of your function. Okay, so we're leaving this to a word problem. You've been hired at Target. You make $9 per hour, but you're a student, so you can't work more than 25. So you can work up to 25 hours a week. We want to write a function here that gives the amount of money in your paycheck based on the number of hours you work. So we're going to say that our variable is h, and we want to use p of h. So p of h is the amount of money you're making, and every hour you work, you get $9. So you can multiply that together to figure out how much you make. Here, the independent variable is going to be h, or your hours, and the dependent is the money you get, or your paycheck, because that depends on how many hours you work. So we want to figure out, well, what's the domain and the range of the function. So the domain is our hours, right? But you can only work up to 25 hours. So you can work anywhere from 0 to 25. So that's our domain. And then the range is our y value. So we need to plug that into the function. So this is the paycheck. Well, if you work 0 hours, you're going to get paid $0. So that starts at 0. And then if you work 25 hours, you can do 9 times 25, and you'll make $225 as your range. So that's it for this one. You can work on the 4.6.2 Math Excel.